All right. So, what should we build today? Whoops. Oh, I accidentally had it open on the other screen. Let me. I'm pretty bullish on Gemini for most things. So, one second while I grab a key. I was working on another agent. Maybe we should just go to that one instead. All right. So, I think I want to keep working on this one and see if I can get it working a little better than last time. So this is just a log table that I set up. Um, it's not meant for long term. It was just for testing right here. So basically, what I have is this ticket router agent, and so if we go over to our agents right here, you can see I've tested a couple of different ones. Took me a couple of tries to find a model and configuration that I liked. I was having some issues with this initial one that I was using um, because I was trying to use structured output um, with tool use. So you need to really pay attention to what model you're choosing and the configuration that you're trying to set up, because some of these models don't they don't work with both structured outputs and tool usage. Um, so that's definitely going to be an improvement we make in our next iteration of agents, because that's not extremely clear with the way it is right now. So going back to my other agent, um, I decided to completely scrap the structured output. And as you can see inside, I'm going to make this a little bigger so we could actually go through it. So I started with a really simple system prompt, and then I actually iterated on it with Claude. Um, and the reason I do this, this is actually like some best practice with system prompts right here, um, is that you should have AI help you craft it, because nobody knows an LLM like an LLM. And so they'll know exactly how they want it to be structured. And you can think of LLMs just like humans. if you would want pretty clear instructions and some nice formatting to make it more readable in order to get the job done. So what we have here is this customer service ticket routing agent. Its only job is to essentially assign it to a department and to uh, someone in the organization that can reply. Um, Now, I'm going to be building off of this and making it more and more complex. But for the very first iteration, all I want is that um, I think the problem is that like we all go and use these platforms. We want to reach out to somebody at the company, and sometimes we get stuck in like, okay, how do I contact somebody? I just want to talk to a real person. Um, or, you know, uh, a lot of like intercom style chat bubbles or customer support chat bubbles will have like these different options available to you, and you have to like start clicking through, right? And tell like filter down your problem. And sometimes it like leads you to a dead end and you have to restart, or you have to uh, basically like choose the wrong thing and hope that you get someone to talk to. So the idea with this one is that you can easily just type in the issue you're having, and based off of that, the agent will connect you to the right person. So going back here, I've equipped my agent with two tools. So I'm getting the available agents, so a list of agents in the department, and it's the tool is going to return it sorted by workload. So, uh, and that's an important distinction. And then the other tool is going to be updating the ticket, because we need the agent to basically uh, update that ticket with who should be responding, right? And what department it goes with. And so that's why I initially built this out with the structured outputs, but then it wasn't working with structured outputs and tools based off of the model I had chosen. So I decided instead, okay, let me just give it a tool, and I don't need it to return that structured JSON. I can just have it use the tool and do it on its own. I don't need to do that deterministically directly within the function stack. So that's basically why I have it set up like that. And hopefully this thought process is helpful. Let me see. I do not have. Aha. Okay. Cool. All right. So I basically gave it the different departments and some keywords that it could use to identify them. Um, and then we have the priority classification, because it's also going to determine what the priority should be for this ticket. So it has, different terms and keywords here. And then I explicitly tell the agent the required process and what it should do. So I want it to first analyze the ticket content and classify the department based on keywords. And then I want it to use that tool of getting available agents. And it has to pass in the department name. So that's why we do this in order, right? It needs to figure out, okay, what department should I go and look for? And then it finds uh, the uh, the list of people in that department, and then it just selects the first one. So I even tell it they're pre-sorted by workload, and that's just a like open ticket count. And then we classify the priority, and then we tell it to call the update ticket function. And then it's going to update it with the department, the user ID, specifically the one that we got from step 3, and then the priority of that ticket. And then we've got some decision rules here, some critical requirements, and then we have some examples. Okay, so why is my system agent or my system prompt formatted like this, and why I have it like this? This is pretty much best practice. There's a really good video on system prompts for agents from YC on their YouTube channel. And I highly recommend watching that. You can just tweet at me or message me, and if you can't find it, but you should be able to find it pretty easily. But where you're going to get, like, how do you get from hallucinations to a magical agent experience? And it's mainly going to be with context engineering. And this is a large part of it, right? It's all about the tokens in and the tokens out. So the outcome we want and the information we're providing to get to that outcome. So, and there's a bunch of different terminology for how you would do this. And then here is the prompt that I'm passing in. So I'm saying, analyze the customer support ticket and route it appropriately. And here's the ticket ID. And I'm doing all of this in Markdown because LLMs are like us. They like clearly formatted and clear instructions. And so I even add in the task here and the requirements. So this is a little verbose, and that's because I had challenges at first getting it to work properly. But yeah, that's why you want to be able to iterate on it. And that's why I showed my agent log table at the beginning, is so that I could basically, be able to check and verify what the agent is actually doing. So if I go to my endpoints here, we can go to this customer service, and then we can see, okay, I created a chat widget. I'm actually going to open this up in another tab. All right. And so, sorry, this is like bright blank screen, but you can see my support chat widget. Excuse me. And basically, I'm serving this directly from the endpoint. So you can see all the code for that right here. And I did not write all of this myself. I just had AI come up with this for me. So I would actually, I've been meaning to kind of post like prompt to get AI to do this for you. Basically, you can tell it to use like Bootstrap and then have it in a single file format and specify that it's for Twig. And then all you have to do is set the header type. And then you'll be able to do what I'm showing right here. Hey, Sandy. Yes, I'll definitely share this snippet. Right now, agents aren't included in snippets, but that should be coming very soon. It's high priority for us to get this working. But in the meantime, I could share parts of it that you would have to recreate on your own. But yeah, hopefully by next release, we'll have that included and I can share it super easily. But either way, you'll be able to learn a lot from this. So I'm actually going to open up my dev tools real quick because I want to test this. And I'm going to grab the same prompt that I've been testing with, and I can just go to, whoops, that is not the right project. We'll go to my agent log. And we can see if I go in here, here's the original message that I was using. So I'm having some payment issue that I can't fix through the dashboard, which is why I'm reaching out to support. So let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a error in the code, but it's, as you can see, the call is completing. We got a 200 response. You can see the steps that it took in order to complete the request. But there is some kind of error in my code. So specifically line 502. So let's go check that out real quick. And here's my chat widget. And if I go to line 502, let's see. Yeah, so we're throwing the console error, but why try await this call, response and response.message, this.add message. Okay. So this.add message user, send message. Let me look at, let's look at the chat endpoint too. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this tab. I want to keep that code open so I can easily go back to it. And then we can go to our chat endpoint. So this is basically how I have my agent configured. So I'm creating a ticket based off of the message. And then I'm calling the agent. I'm setting the message and the ticket ID like I showed before in my agent configuration. Then I am logging it, and then we're gonna, I don't need to edit record anymore because I gave that, I gave the agent the tool to do this automatically. So if I go back, let's open another tab. Sorry, y'all, I'm a tab freak. So let's go to our ticket router v1. And as you can see, I have this tool right here. So yeah, basically this is how the agent is able to update the ticket. So we can see right here that it just updated this ticket. We can see its inputs. So it thinks it's a high priority. I agree. If somebody's having some billing issues, that's pretty urgent, I would say. And then, yeah, so it's filling everything out correctly. And it's assigning it to a agent representative at the organization, specifically from the billing department. So just so things are a little more clear, I know I hopped in pretty quick, but these are our users. And as you can see, like I started adding some departments here. And yeah, it basically assigned user ID to Roberta from the billing department to answer that. And it didn't assign Bonnie. So maybe that's based off of, like I said, the count of the tickets, right? So, all right, let's see if we can fix this error in our code. So if I go back to my chat widget, you can see that I've got this config here, and I'm passing in the endpoint that I'm using. So that's how we're able to trigger that endpoint within the widget. And for some reason, I think the response isn't what it expects. So maybe our output should be, right now it's ticket router, but maybe it should be the tool response for the ticket, I'm thinking. I wonder. So if we go to that try catch for the call API, um, let's see, add message if response dot assigned to. Okay, that's definitely AI making stuff up. So we should honestly get AI to fix that. Or I could check my request history. Let's see this output steps. And honestly, I kind of like the result that the AI is giving here. Even though uh, the chat widget has a pretty cool response that like it's giving like this kind of generic message response. Um, okay, response dot ticket ID. We're just having like a mapping issue here, right? So response, honestly, we could just jam the response dot result in there for now and see if that works. I don't even need AI to help me with that. Um, actually, let's duplicate this. This is what I like doing. So I like duplicating, and then I'll comment this as v0.1, and I'll save that, and then I'll call this one v0.2, and that way I have like an easy kind of version control directly in the function stack. And then we can edit this one and not worry about it. So if I go to your there we go. And then we could just say so response. Actually, let's double check real quick. We've got response. Oh, wait, this call response. We could try and remove this, just if response, and then we could say add this message, and we could do and we'll do just response, right? Okay, I'm getting lazy. We're going to use AI. I'm using Claude for this. I'm not going to show it on screen unless y'all want me to, or sure, why not? Dragging it down to this other screen real quick. Oops, gotta get out of full screen mode, and there we go. Okay, so let's just copy this whole thing, and you know what? I'll give it the original one without my edits, and I'll say fix this code so that it maps the response correctly. I'm getting a 200 response. With this output, but I'm getting this error in the console. Okay, and now let's just copy and paste our response. This is going to be pretty big. So we're just going to copy a response here, go back, and we'll, yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, and then we'll just take this part of it right here, or the whole thing. And honestly, this is probably too much, but it should be able to handle that, especially on a fresh conversation. So let's see what happens. I can see the issue, expecting a response with a message property, but your API is returning different. Yeah, exactly. That's what I told you. All right, so that's one thing I hate. Sometimes I'm like, really grateful that it returns the entire code so I can just copy and paste it. But other times, I kind of wish it just gave me the correct lines, and then I could just copy and paste it. But while that is happening, I'm going to go check something real quick. All right. Yes, I know there was an issue with that. I honestly don't want to. Okay, so it's good. I think that's fine because sometimes whenever I'm like using AI to help me with some code, I end up like changing things or fixing it, and then if I don't uh, basically paste in everything once again, then it's gonna not have those changes or any context of those changes. So let's go ahead and just paste this in here, update and close, save, publish, and let's try this again. I'm going to copy my original message and go ahead and refresh, and let's see if that works. Fingers crossed. Woo! Let's go. All right. I really like this. So it sends an initial message. Um, not too happy about it sending two messages, but whatever. Um, so now that it's correctly assigning someone from our organization to this ticket, um, this is where I want to like the agent has done its job, right? So I like that it actually didn't mention. Okay, it did mention the priority. um, well, I guess that's kind of good as a user, like knowing that, like it's telling me that this is a higher priority for us. That makes me feel good. So the next step would really be to notify Roberta that she's been assigned a ticket. So how would we do that? I think we have a couple of cool ways to do that. So let's go and look at our tickets. So, okay, I've hard coded customer ID 123. Yeah, because I don't have any logged in user or anything. This is basically, maybe I could just like generate a UUID. I'm pretty sure I just like have this hard coded right here. So, oh, and yeah, I also have some unpublished changes. Interesting. Okay, I'm actually going to revert the changes because I know this is working properly. Um, and okay, yeah, we're good. And now I can basically just like generate a UUID here if we really wanted to. And that way I could just like set this here. Um, obviously, I don't recommend just doing this without having like some additional check, but at least now we can have a more dynamic. Okay, so let's test a couple other use cases, I think. Um, so what if we, all right, should we move on to what we were going to say that we were going to do, or as in notifying Roberta that there's a ticket available? So I can do that directly within, so we have a couple different options. I could do that directly within the endpoint, right? Um, or like I could use a post process, or I could use like an async function. I think doing everything in functions, I'm not a huge fan of triggers personally, just because uh, I don't know. I feel like the logic is, uh, I'm just like not used to it. And I don't feel like having logic tied into this view makes sense to me specifically, but I'm going to go ahead and create a function. Actually, I'm just going to say uh, or function. Okay, I forgot the command for that. We're going to say notify uh, or we'll say ticket notification. Maybe we make this like more dynamic and reusable in the future. And after that, we can basically maybe pass in a user ID, who we want to notify. And then maybe if we go to Slack, okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't think I have a Slack action here, but I can always just use the request assistant and say, uh, send a message on Slack. I can get pretty short with my with the way I prompt AI sometimes, but I know it's gonna work. So, okay. So now we are gonna need to set up our Slack token, but in this hypothetical scenario, uh, we'll just say that, okay, this works. Um, and that way, I can basically publish this. And if we go back to uh, our chat endpoint, we can basically call that function. So notify or ticket notification. And then we're going to say what user ID we're going to, and then I'm going to actually switch this to async. And async is really incredible. Highly recommend checking it out because it uses different resources than post process, but they're both ways to essentially return the answer uh, or complete like the API response quicker. So it's a better user experience when you do this. And okay, we're gonna actually have to drill down into our response. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this and paste that. And then we're gonna say, oh, I think we actually don't have the capability to do that anymore. So uh, hmm. So we're just gonna do ticket router v1 dot. Yeah, that's one issue because it's we're gonna have to break down the steps based off of the tool result, or we could just refetch the record right there, which is honestly like the lazier approach. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna do that because I'm not building for best practice. This is just a way we could essentially, yeah, we're going to discard those changes real quick. And we're just going to say, we don't even need query all records. My bad. We are going to get record and we're going to get a ticket record by the ticket ID. And that is ticket.id. Boom. And now we can pass in our user ID from ticket one dot assigned rep. Perfect. Okay, so I'm actually going to publish this, and I want to, I guess we'll simulate it. Does anybody who's watching have a good message for me to test with the support chatbot? It could be anything. It could be something you just make up, or uh, you know, a real world, message that you've sent support. So let's send this off. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to go and check and see what happened with our function call. Oh, please tell me I have my request history for the function. Yay. All right, so it executed it. Cool. Okay, so in theory, Roberta would have been notified of the ticket, right? Or that she's been assigned a ticket. So now that she's been assigned to ticket, actually, I'd love to take this even further, right? Um, maybe in this ticket notification, uh, or before this happens, maybe we like call another agent um, that would, draft a response. So Roberta doesn't necessarily have to try and come up with the response on her own. Um, and then she could, like, it could be sent in a Slack message, right? And she gets notified, but then the Slack message also contains, buttons, which you can do in Slack. And there she can either approve it and have the agent send the response on her behalf, or we could have like a retry button, or she could just like directly go in there and edit it herself. So I'm not sure, but that's the way I'm thinking about it. When I'm developing agents like for production, I'm always thinking about, I do not, even though I use AI so much every day, I do not trust it one bit. And as you can see, like earlier in the stream, like you have to, in order to really leverage it, especially with coding, you need to have some kind of understanding. And I'm very grateful that, I've reached a place where I can do that effectively. But I digress. It's all about human in the loop. Not, I don't want my agents to be fully autonomous. I'm not going to let them just, you know, take over. I want them to basically, be help, little helpers to me. And I'm their kind of, overlord or something. You know, I'm the one that's able to verify what the AI is doing. I want to approve it. I don't want AI slop going out to anyone. And I want to make sure that, what it's generating is accurate. So that's why I'm always thinking of ways where I could basically, uh, you know, figure out exactly the best way to leverage human in the loop for this type of stuff. So, all right, that's where I want to take this. I don't know if I am gonna build this out right now, to be honest. But uh, I don't know. Does anybody who's watching have any cool like agent use cases? What are you building right now? What are you, thinking about building? Um, or do you have any suggestions of what you want to see me build? Um, Let me know. In the meantime, I can also go through and mess around with this other agent that I was building. And it's a super basic one. It's like kind of think of it like a hello world style agent. Um, and that's this enrich contact. Um, and it is using a Gemini 2.5 Flash. And if we go look at my prompts right here, you can see I'm just basically what this one is doing is it's collecting, uh, a name, an email, and a message on a sign up form on your website or something. And then it's going and uh, enriching that contact information. So it's a lead capture kind of agent. Um, and the reason I built this one, and actually, yeah, let's dive into this one because it's pretty interesting. As I said, it was like my version of a hello world agent, but uh, I actually had, uh, you know, I tried this a couple of different ways. And what I found to be the most effective was actually not using structured output, um, but directly adding examples of the JSON output that I was looking for inside the system prompt. So this is kind of another way to approach that. But there's actually an even better way to do this. And I was talking to some people about it today, um, and essentially, I wonder, do we have a way to clone agents right now? Oh, heck yeah, we do. Okay, so let's call this enrich contact v2. Okay, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. But the idea with this agent is that you just enable this feature right here, use search grounding, and this actually enables the agent to go and search the web using Google search. And this one is only available on Gemini models. Um, but there are third-party tools uh, like Exa and Firecrawl that can go and do this stuff. And you can just like create it as a tool and give your agent access to that tool. But this one is specifically searching using Google. And so if I go to my table right here, my agent log, let's go and look at one of the responses from that agent. So this enrich contact. Okay, so inside the steps, and that was another thing, is that I set it to, I think, 5 steps. Um, so it essentially used the web search, and you can see it made 2 queries using web search. And this array will show you exactly what it searched for. Um, and so I actually put my own information in here, and in my own Xano email, and it went and it was like searching for this information about Xano. I actually created uh, a dashboard for this one too. I'm pretty obsessed with the template engine. I think there's just so many incredible use cases for it. So if we go here, um, you can see when I submitted my own email, um, and yeah, basically it scored like the lead. I said, looking forward to chatting and seeing how our platforms can work together and deliver more value to our users. That was me submitting the form and providing my name and email. And then this is the result from the agent searching the web. It came up with all of this, like what department and all this information, what it thinks I am. Um, and then it added kind of like some tags that like high intent, qualified lead, and partnership inquiry. And this is like a super basic one, but you can get so much more sophisticated with this. I've already seen people, some Xano builders who are building pretty sophisticated agents, and they are including a bunch of uh, like custom functions that they had previously built and were basically running them in tasks, but now they've packaged them as a tool and they're just giving it to the agent to execute this like huge function stack. And it's really incredible what you can do. Like when you think about it, like you can have any kind of logic in here. So in the previous example, this get available agents, uh, I basically just have an input for the department, like I said, but I also had AI generate this SQL for me using the SQL system right here. And that way it could just like quickly get the job done. But you could equip the agents with any kind of tools. I mean, the next thing that I really want to try is adding a tool and we could call this like lead enrichment. Let's be verbose agent. And so we could equip an agent with another agent. And that way, like, you see what I'm talking about here? Um, and this is just one way to do, like, to give agents the ability to trigger another agent. There's definitely other ways you can do this. So, uh, but yeah. All right. Give me 1 second, please. All right. I'm back. Sorry about that. All right. So I'm trying to think of what we should do next. Um, I can either keep improving our ticket router agent, um, or I can just like go through the multiple iterations if you're interested. Um, so you can see like how simple I started, or I guess no, this wasn't the original system prompt, but I started out really simple. And I think that's one of the things that everybody should do. Start out really simple, and it's kind of best practice to start with the most powerful model first. And as you iterate on your system prompt and your tools and everything like that, then you can slowly start, bumping it down to a more uh, like a smaller model that's more cost effective. You don't really need a Ferrari, or you don't need Opus, or you know Sonnet for everything. Um, but it's usually best practice to start with something, uh, one of the better, bigger and better models. So, and then you can, as I said, iterate on it and drop it down. As you can see, like I tested a few different models here. Um, I think, yeah, I ended up landing on 4.0. Um, and another thing is that there are a lot of kind of knobs or dials to uh, tweak every time. But I, I wouldn't honestly recommend doing too much. Like when testing, I only change one thing at a time and then I test it. And then I also, if we go into, I think I have yeah, this bulk test. So Sometimes I'll just loop over an agent and basically, record a bunch of logs, um, and see how different it was if I executed the same exact request 20 different times. Am I going to get the same result 20 times? Um, and the obvious answer is, most likely not. But I want to know kind of like that failure rate. And when I have that information, it'll allow me to dial it in a little more, um, and keep iterating on that. Um, when I think it's good enough, that's when I'll like most likely bulk test. Um, but I, yeah, I wouldn't change too many things at once. Think of it like cooking. You're not gonna go like when you're cooking a dish. Sorry, I'm a huge foodie and I love cooking. I don't have that much time to do it, cook as much these days, but when I do, you know, you're not going to add a bunch of things like to the pot at once, or when you've incorporated everything, right? Let's say you're making a sauce, right? And you're making your sauce, and then you're tasting it and seeing, okay, I think it needs this or something, right? You're going to add in, one ingredient at a time. I'm not going to go and add in like 5 different ingredients and see if then it's like better than it was before. Um, because yeah, I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but hopefully that's a more universal way to think about it. And I know like we have an international audience, and so I'm always trying to accommodate and not be too American with the way I talk about things. Because, yeah, hopefully that's helpful. All right. I would love it if somebody, gave me some direction on what would be most helpful to tackle next. Because I could really take this in any direction, but who I am as a person is I love helping. So if I can be of any help to you, uh, let me know. I'm more than happy to accommodate. And especially if it's agent focused. I'm not here for customer support though. Although I'm happy to direct you if there is something that I could help with. But yeah, so I really like how we have this reference by here. Ends up being super helpful. Honestly, this one is pretty much done. Uh, we could finish the Slack integration, or we could develop the second agent that is going to draft the response. Maybe we should do that. And I highly recommend, breaking it down into sub agents instead of having like one master agent that does all the things, right? Uh, because the more you like specialize it in one thing, the worse it becomes at another thing. So it's really hard to kind of have an extremely broad and helpful agent that can do all the things. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and add one. Um, we'll call this one uh, support draft reply. So the reason I'm actually approaching this a little differently is because I'm not too interested in creating like a RAG customer success or customer support chatbot. Um, like you could definitely add it into that, but this one in specific, like I had mentioned at the beginning of the stream, was mainly around interacting with or talking to somebody from the company. So, and getting you in touch with the right person at the company. Um, so that's why uh, I've done it this way. So um, we could say uh, when a ticket is assigned to an employee, this agent will draft an initial response. I think that is clear enough for our description. And this is just internal, right? This is for me to remember what this agent is doing. Um, and I think, yeah, let's go for Gemini. And we really don't need that many steps, but I would recommend just leaving it a little bit above what you think. Because, for example, if you just put one here, it'll immediately give you a response, right? And it won't be able to execute tools, for example, or do like multi request LLM calls. Um, because that's what agents are under the covers, right? They're a series, a chain of LLM requests. And that's why we're able to basically uh, do bigger things with LLMs than we were before, bigger tasks, that is. So honestly, this default system prompt isn't that bad, but uh, I think we're gonna change it. So let me open up. Honestly, we could just say your task is to create an initial response on behalf of the assigned agent. Okay, I'm just going to AI this. So excuse me 1 second. We're going to go out of here. We're going to go to Quad. We're going to open a new chat. We're going to say, create a system prompt for an agent that is specialized, um, that's specialized at drafting responses to customer support tickets. Uh, to give you a clearer idea, in order to write an effective system prompt, I'll give you the whole picture. So this is a customer support chat bubble for a site, and users can instantly type their message, and a separate agent than this one will basically prioritize the ticket and assign a representative to that ticket. Um, and once that representative is notified on Slack, we want this agent to draft the initial response for them to approve. Please use best practices when developing the system prompt, and think about how to structure it in a very clear and concise way so we can get the most effective reply to the user on behalf of the assigned agent. All right. So I'm actually using Super Whisper here uh, and it modifies what I spoke. And so this should provide me with a fairly good system prompt to use. All right, so it's building it in Markdown right now. So interesting. All right, that's fairly verbose. Um, Simple issues up to 2 short paragraphs for complex ones. Formatting, use it bullet points. Okay, I like all of that. Um, yeah, see, it thinks we're creating like a RAG chatbot, but it is not going to have any information. Um, okay, that's fine. It should be fine. I can download as Markdown if I want, or I could just, it should be able to copy it here in Markdown, and I can go ahead and paste this into my system prompt. Okay, it did not copy the Markdown. Let me go ahead and download that Markdown. I don't know why it did that. Actually, let's try something else. Instead of using Markdown for our system prompt, I would prefer if you used the XML tag style system prompt, because that actually uses less tokens. So please format it to use XML instead. You can also use Markdown where it's appropriate, um, but I think there are certain parts that would work better with XML tags or YAML. Let's see what it thinks. I love reading the thought process of the LLMs. Yeah, see, in this, I would say this is like one of the better ways to write system prompts. I'm getting uh, pretty good results when I switch to using these XML tags. And there's actually a really cool trick you can do, um, where, here, let me go ahead and paste this. But instead of using like structured output or even JSON within the system prompt, like telling it to use a JSON output, you can have it reply in this format. And then we could build a function that will essentially uh, strip that information and give us structured, like we can take that unstructured data, and then using the tags to dynamically structure it. Um, so I highly recommend testing that out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that so I don't lose it, because sometimes I have a habit of doing that. And then, okay, so um, great. I love it. Thank you. Now, please create the prompt with some dynamic variables where I'll pass in the ticket information or the customer request. Oops. Ever since I installed Raycast and Claude Desktop, I have too many uh, and using Super Whisper on top of that, I have too many tools that are basically using the same hotkey, and so I sometimes get these errors. So, pardon me one moment while I go to my Super Whisper history, and I'm just going to copy it from there. Oh, what are you doing? Uh, what did it just do? Okay, so it's okay. Sorry for misleading you. I actually meant this is gonna not to or um, what I actually meant was uh, that the system prompt is great, but we need a separate prompt for the task. Those are two different parameters. So we didn't. I mean, unless you think it's the right call to add it to the system prompt, I think we should separate the two. Would you agree? Oh, I think I primed it too much. Oh, okay. I really got to fix the hotkeys I'm using. Classic AI. You're absolutely right. Oh gosh. Does anybody else chuckle whenever you get that message from AI? Maybe I should have been even more explicit. Okay, it looks like it created another artifact. Yeah. Okay. So if you don't know what these are called, whenever Claude splits the chat like this, they're called artifacts. Um, and yeah, you can see the different versions and everything right here. Super handy. Love this user experience. Okay, that is not correct. What did it just copy? Oh, there we are. That is pretty verbose. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. We don't need any of this information. Honestly, we just want like maybe the customer name. And we don't really need the subject. Uh, whoops. Yeah, I don't think we need that. The customer message we want on like this is the most important thing, right? Um, interaction history, we don't. That's way too complicated. We don't care about their account context. Let's get rid of that. The company context. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Priority handling, category considerations. I mean, I don't know why. Okay, okay. Yeah. So this is why it's important to kind of like review what the AI is doing, right? Um, because at first glance, I was like, why is it adding in this priority handling? Because it's actually going to adapt about how to reply based off of that. So it's using that as kind of like uh, whatever the initial agent that like that routed the ticket and assigned it, um, it's determining the priority. And so this next agent wants to use that priority information to kind of adapt how it's going to reply. I really like this, guys. This is pretty cool, and this is the kind of fun stuff you get to do when experimenting with agents. Like you can really just do whatever you want, and it's all about experimentation right now. No, like I wrote a Substack blog post about this because there's this concept in software development of best practice, and best practice when it comes to AI. I mean, like the AI space is moving so quick that I don't think we will ever have like like this old sense of best practice like we used to. It's really just about like testing and what works. Um, and you have the chance to kind of pioneer um, along with everyone else. Like, I was watching some talks from AI Engineer, which is like one of the biggest conferences for AI engineers. It was AI Engineer World Fair in San Francisco last month, and I'm really sad that I didn't get to go. But I was watching the some of the talks, which are on YouTube, by the way, on their YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But one of them was from uh, the Dexter. I forget his last name. It's yeah, I'm not going to butcher it. But anyways, he made a great point, and he kept saying he was talking about this kind of methodology that they had developed called 12 factor agents. But it's so interesting because I had previously read his write up on it before he had presented it at the conference, and he kept saying something I found super interesting. And he kept like after every section of the write up, he was just like something along the lines of, you know, I'm not sure if this is the best way, but I know it's something you should test. And I found that really interesting, and it really, uh, yeah, I tweeted about it as well. Really impressive stuff what they're doing and how they're thinking about agents. And he even gives examples of agents that they have built themselves. So highly recommend checking that out. Okay, so back to building. I think I'm fine with all this. We can go ahead and set my API key, which I'm going to do dynamically from my environment variable. Um, I want to say this is how I've been naming it everywhere, and I need to double check. Nope, Gemini key. So I was wrong. All right, let's go back to my agent, and we're just going to say Gemini key here instead. All right, and I'm pretty obsessed with the 2.5 Flash, but I say let's try 2.5 Pro, 2.5 Pro, because, like I said before, start with a very big model and see the results. And I'm going to do zero point 0.8 for temperature. Um, and we're not going to tweak anything else. Let's just go ahead and test this, I think. So one thing that we did not tell the agent, or we didn't tell Claude to do when it was developing this for us, is that, yeah, as you can see here, um, it did not use the variable names. So if we go back to my other agent, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see how I'm doing it here? So this is how we need to do it. So I'm actually going to just get Claude to fix them. Um, say, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that we actually need to set up our dynamic variables differently. We're going to do it like so. Please update both the system prompt and the user prompt uh, to use this style of dynamic variables. Hey, that one worked. And this is the stuff that I really appreciate working with AI, um, because it's so helpful for this type of stuff. Like in some scenarios, like if you have the same variable name, like all throughout a document or something, you'd be able to just like, you know, Command F and search and replace. Uh, but when it's like so many different things like this, I'm so grateful for AI because I would be sitting here and doing this for way too long. All right, so it looks like ticket information. Okay. And we're in the wrong agent. So let's go back to support draft reply and we can go to our prompts. I don't know, can we edit it directly from here? I don't think so. Okay. All right, so this one was our regular prompt. And let's go see if it updated. Okay. Did you update our other artifact? Okay, we're not setting anything dynamically there, so we're good to go. Okay, now we need to basically save that. And honestly, I'm going to wrap this into a custom function, um, just because, uh, and we can say this is agent draft reply. And yeah, we'll just save that. And we'll just call our agent here. And that is going to be support draft reply. And so now we want all our args. Honestly, say, please give me a JSON object with all the fields so I can quickly set it in Xano. Boom. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Okay. I did exactly what I warned you not to do earlier. Classic. Um, okay. Did anybody notice what I did? So, um, you remember how I went through the prompt and I was like, "Oh, we don't need this, we don't need that," and I went and I cleaned it up, but I never went back to Claude and pasted it back in there or told it that I had modified it. So, shoot. Okay, let's go back. It's fine. This stuff is quick. We have AI on our side to help us out. So, no harm, no foul. Okay. So, if we remember, we didn't care about a lot of this stuff. Um, maybe, yeah, we really don't care about a lot of this stuff. I was thinking of changing my mind now, but um, I don't think we care about subject, uh, category. Nah, I think department was the important one. So say args department. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to oh shoot. I'm so excited. Sorry, I got I got an update um, about the windsurf meetup here in Austin that I'm going to. Uh, but let me double check because I have a meeting coming up, and let me see if I might have to hop off here, and we can pick this back up tomorrow. Let's see. Appreciate y'all's patience. All right, let's see. All right, let's. Yeah, we don't care about created at. Um, assign to, I think, is valuable. Um, it would be even more valuable, like especially if you have some kind of samples of uh, like the person's writing. In that way, you could inject like some examples of how that person would normally respond. So it's more like them speaking rather than the AI. Sorry, I'm just trying to reply to a message right here. Forgive me. What's up, Riley? For those who don't know, oh man, how do I move that to the other side of the screen? All right, Riley's on top of me. For those who don't know, Riley is one of our brilliant designers at Xano. All right, one moment. I think we can keep the stream going. All right, let's get back to it. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I think we just needed to get rid of like some other information that we don't necessarily have right now or need. Account context, yada yada, current incidents, recent updates. Nope. And we definitely don't want to erase that because that signifies the end of the ticket information. And yeah, all right. So now we're good to go. Let's hit save and see what we can get going. Um, all right. So now that we have our support draft, let's actually go to that agent draft reply and get it to, or should we have AI take another shot at what I asked it to do before? So, uh, okay, now I'll say, okay, I'll just say I removed a bunch of things that we don't need. Now I'll just paste that in there and I'll give it a line break. So now we're in a better spot. Perfect. And I love doing this. It just makes my life easier as a builder. Um, Highly recommend doing stuff like this. It just uh, really streamlines the experience. And then I'm just going to paste it right here. Whoops, I did not copy. Okay, I'm going to redo that because that did not set correctly. And stop selecting text. Just going to go that and then say with filters. All right, now we've got everything set. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So depending on how we build this, I can either query the information or pass it in. It really depends on how I'm architecting my solution, right? So let's actually go back to our API endpoint. And then let's see, let's go to that chat endpoint and maybe we just do like, we already called the ticket right here. So because I did it in a lazy way. So maybe we just do that right here as well. So we can pass it in as agent draft reply function. Going to go ahead and hit save right there. And then let's map some parameters. I'm actually going to use DB link here since we already have all this information. We don't really care about some, I guess it doesn't even matter. We're not using this necessarily as a tool. So we could definitely just start mapping everything. So customer name. Oh, we don't even have the customer name. Oops. Okay. Well, let's just imagine that this is we'll just hard code Daniel here. Okay, and then our ticket ID is just going to be our ID, which I don't see. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we don't care about ticket ID either. We'll need to check that in our prompt again. But let's map our priority right here to the enum value. Let's map our department to our department enum value. Um, let's our assigned representative. Okay, well, we are getting that information back, but we need an add-on for that user. So we'll just say user details and be verbose, and then we can just customize the response, and we're just gonna, maybe we'll pass in name and email. We don't really care about department here. We already have that information right there, and we know that to be true. So now we could pass in oh man, I just realized we're gonna have to map a lot of different variables. Um, and this assigned representative is the ID instead of the name. Because I'm gonna have to map everything in here now. So I guess that's fine. It's ticket one dot. Just gonna do customer ID and message as message. That's wrong. Status as status, priority as priority, and so on and so forth. And assigned rep, I guess I honestly don't like this one. I kind of want to hide. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this assigned rep. So we're going to do hide this input, and we'll just add a new input and call this rep name. All right. Now that we have our representative name, we could go ahead and map this here to our assigned rep. And we'll just say, because, I mean, here's the thing. So we don't know what we need until we really need it. Like I could, sit here and think about, well, maybe I want my assigned rep ID to be passed to this agent, and then I could equip it with a tool where it could do something with that assigned rep ID. But as of right now, like, I don't have anything in mind. So I'm just going to build it uh, the way I want to build it, or the way I think it should be built right now, and we can modify it later. Um, you don't really have to sit here and, you know, this is one thing I always tell people is there's no point in over engineering or, get thinking about best practice and all this stuff. What actually matters and delivers value is, shipping. So don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. Because you're always thinking of, well, how should I build it? Or should I build it this way or that way, right? Um, I just tell people build it, whatever makes sense to you at the time you're building, and you can always rebuild it later. That's one of the beauties of, using a backend like Xano. So, yeah. Okay. The customer message. I guess we could pass in like the initial customer message. I forget why we wanted this, but there we go. And I think that's enough. And so we'll actually need to store this output somewhere. So maybe we do want to give this agent a tool. How did we tell this agent to respond? I think it's going to straight up output the message itself. So we could just pass the result directly to a table. Um, so let's create a table right here. And let's say, uh, or let's use the DB assistant. I'm going to restart my session, say, create a table that will capture the messages from tickets between different people. So I think we're going to have like uh, user that's not in our user table. We're going to have a user, which are our assigned representatives in are from our user table. And then we might even have just like one of the roles might is going to be an AI assistant. So I think use a regular text field for the role, but please create this messages table for the ticket messages. I probably like uh, confused it. Sender external ID, sender user ID. Okay, sure, whatever. I'm trying to ship, so I want to move quick. I'm not going to get, and like I can always change this later. I'm not locked into this. Like I said before, don't let analysis paralysis, hold you back. So now we're just going to add a record with that message. And actually, now that we're doing this, we need to, and yeah, we also don't have the ticket ID for some reason. So let's add that. And we're going to say the ticket ID is from our input ticket ID. We're going to say the sender type for this one is going to be internal user. And the sender user ID, see, now we actually wanted this assigned rep. Whoops. Let me save that. And we are going to unhide this input. And then we're going to want to go back and change it in the endpoint as well. So internal user, and then we're going to do sender ID is assigned rep ID. Sender external ID is going to be our customer ID, and sender agent log ID. What is this using? It's referencing an agent log record. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we can work with that. Um, all right, so we don't have this just yet. Um, and content is going to be the output of our agent here. So support draft reply dot result, I believe, is going to be the dot notation for that. So let's, all right, we're kind of all over the place here, and that's fine. These things happen. You start, you realize you need something else, and then you know, need to uh, just roll with it. So we're going to say support draft agent. The action it's taking is uh, draft reply. I think that's fine. Action details. I'm just dumping the whole payload in here for the moment. Status is, I'm just going to hard code success right now. And we can, yeah, so I'm using Gemini. Let's just copy it from our table and get that in there easily. So, and actually I could go here and copy some of these. Oh, I'm not doing it here either. Okay. I'm being lazy. Screw it. I just want to see some results. Okay, so now that we've done all that, let's go back to our chat endpoint, and now let's pass in all the correct information. So assigned rep is going to be ticket one dot assigned rep. Resolution, we don't have that information. We need to get rid of that. Department is ticket one dot department updated at, sure, we could say now, updated by, uh, we don't need that just yet, because it's technically drafting a reply, so we haven't updated it just yet. But here we could put user details dot name. Ticket ID is ticket one dot ID. So, okay, we want to get rid of resolution updated by right now in our function. So updated by, let's hide that. And what was the other one? Resolution. Because there is no resolution just yet, but there will be soon, TM. And if we reopen this, it should reset it. Okay, we've got everything filled out. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to publish that. And okay, all right, let's run it again. For those who haven't seen this or just joined, basically what we have here is this we have a couple of agents, right? We have our first agent that is going to process the user requests. See, we're saying our AI will connect you with the right department. So what it's doing is it's doing a couple of things, and I'm going to run it and you'll see. So I'm typing on, I'm the user, I'm having a payment issue that I can't fix through the dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and send this request, and we'll see what it replies with. And these requests can take I think, a bit of time. Okay, there we go. So a ticket's been created and it's been routed to the billing department. The ticket has been assigned to Roberta Rice, and the priority level has been set to high due to the payment issue mentioned in the customer message. So this is like the AI's message right here. Um, I I kind of like that. I maybe I should combine these messages, but now that we've done that, let's go to our uh, agent log and uh, oops, I think I already forgot something. But let's see here. Message, content. Hi, Daniel. Thank you for reaching out. I'm sorry to hear you're encountering a payment issue that you haven't been able to resolve through the dashboard. I think there's a way to like, uh, shoot, this is embarrassing. Okay, here, open as card. Yeah. Oh, I thought there was a way like I could make this much bigger, but okay, whatever. Let's keep reading this. Yeah, that was what I was talking about. I forgot to fill out the sender agent log. Um, but yeah, so um, I haven't been able to resolve through the dashboard. I understand this is urgent and I'm here to help you get it sorted out right away. To investigate this for you, could you please provide a few more details about the problem? For example, are you seeing a specific error message? Oh, I love this. Um, Trying to update your payment method, or do you have a question about a recent change? Any additional or screenshot of the issue? As soon as I'll have these, I'll make it my top priority. Boom. Oh, company name. Okay. Well, that's the company name that I was talking about. Okay. And that is saying support team, but that's not correct. Um, uh, it should say Roberta's from, we need to make that dynamic and say it's from the billing department. So let's do that real quick. Um, we have department here. Mm, Anybody in the chat have any recommendations? Feel free to suggest something. Okay, company name, support team. Incorrect. Company name, and we're going to say department. And for company name, I guess we could hard code this and say, so if we edit our agent again, let's just make sure I say that right. Yeah, company name, department team. And then down here, we could provide those as arguments. So customer details, ticket details, department, user, and sign the response with the assigned representative's name. Use Xano for company name. Sure. Maybe I should do it. I'll use the same syntax. It's not that many extra tokens, and I think it might help. Okay. And what was the other thing that I said I messed up? I believe it was the agent log ID, right? So sender agent log, and that's going to just be agent logs1.id. Okay, cool. So now that we've updated our agent um, and done that, let's try it one more time. And like I said before, we're not gonna ship that draft reply. We want that's gonna be sent as a Slack message to the assigned representative, and they'll get like a DM so they can review it. And if they approve it, they can just hit the button from the Slack message and approve send this, and it'll show up in the support chat. So let's go ahead and refresh this real quick. And let's see what happens. Stay hydrated, y'all. Oh, what the heck? Okay. It was consistently giving a good response. And then it just kind of decided to switch it up on us. Don't forget to hydrate your agents. Okay, I gotta put that up on the screen. Good one, Riley. I gotta get you on here with me sometime. Show them some of the sweet designs you've been cooking up for us at Xano. All right, what am I doing? Sometimes. Okay, so I fixed that. Um, and let's see if the response got fixed. Yeah, Xano billing team. Let's go. But now I'm actually I'm actually really curious about uh why this turned out like this way. That's funky. I'm gonna rerun it again. Shoot, your message is still up there covering me. Okay. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, is that, sometimes, like, it'll do some weird things. Let's see the, draft right now. So, honestly, the way I'm working right now is, uh not the most efficient. Like I said, I'm using this agent log table, like so I can uh, really like go into and track what the AI is doing. But yeah, soon there will be like you could build this out even better, but we have something coming soon that will help with this and provide a much better developer experience for those of us that are quickly iterating. Um, and like I mentioned before, in case you missed it, I do have like my bulk test function here where I just loop over the agent and make 20 calls so I can basically see if I'm getting, the proper response I'm expecting, you know, at least 90% of the time is the goal, or 95%. I think a 5% failure rate is fine. Um, but even anything above like 80%, I would say, is going to be pretty decent. And you can iterate and refine it further based off of that. So, yeah. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with it so far. Um, I think next steps. So remember, we essentially created that notify function. or ticket notifications. And that way we could message, I guess we would pass in, the draft. So draft reply. And here's where, because I want to display this message within Slack. So that way, like if I get a ticket, it comes as a DM to me directly in Slack, and it's already drafted the response, and I could just quickly read it, and approve it, or maybe edit it, or have the agent retry and craft a different response. With my guidance. So like you could actually have it to where when you reply in Slack, you're replying to the agent itself and making another, like triggering another agent or that same agent to basically redo the draft based off of your feedback, right? So, yeah. And so we would say your message, and this would be the draft reply in this API call to Slack. All right. So I'm thinking of calling it there, guys. I have some other stuff I need to go do, and hopefully this was helpful. And I'm, yeah, let me know if I should do more of these streams. I only have so much time, so I can try and do them as often as I can, especially if I'm working on something like this, which will be used for other demos or YouTube content and stuff like that. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining. It was an absolute pleasure, and thank you for spending your Thursday or Friday, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for spending this time with us, and looking forward to doing it again. All right, take care, everyone.